speaking of things getting shadow drops, it's been the talk of the town for the past week. Oblivion got a remaster slash remake that shadow dropped last week. And, people are, for the most part, pleasantly surprised. It does a lot of quality of life changes that would have been definitely overdue for a game that's that old. And given that Xbox, I mean, it was one of like the worst kept secrets in the gaming industry. Like, there's been rumors for it for, I want to say, at least a year, at least, that they're working on Oblivion remake. What do you guys feel about Xbox's approach to this? Is this a sign of things to come? Is this just like a shadow drop of good faith, quote unquote?
I mean, I'm happy for the people who received it and who are actively playing it, but for me, it's like I'm tired of remakes. I'm
Mm.
tired. I'm tired of all this nostalgia bait. And I feel like, especially in an era where resources are a big thing. It's like, bro, can we just move on?
Nope. I'll just resell you your childhood over and over and over again with shinier graphics this time. But Ash Frank, what do you think on Oblivion being shadow dropped?
I don't know. I think it just kind of it being shadow job kind of bleeds into it having more weight only because of the gaming climate. And I say like yeah, people are tired of remakes, but with that news of Nintendo, with the prices, everybody's looking at like, yo, man, I'm getting this day one. I'm just getting what's that 33 game that just dropped.
Yeah, that's our next
You know,
topic. Clear
you know,
Obstruction 33.
yeah, so it's like I'm only paying $20 a month for this. Or whatever package I have, and my friends can also play it too. Why am I, this is a great, and I can buy it later and own it for myself. This is
Mm-hmm.
a great buy. So for me, or for the future, um, when Xbox does what they do, they're gonna be like, hey, now every game that you've purchased on our Xbox could now be compatible to on PC
Mm-hmm.
without a fee. That's a win. And then you still own your games as long as you want to own your games, as long as you bought them. So I think it's bleeding in, and it's giving people an option, or a clearer option, as to like, yo, no, you know what, Game Pass was iffy, but this is actually gonna make more sense now,
Mm-hmm.
seeing that the blowback from everything else. And then now we also got a very good definitive edition of a game called Oblivion, which was critically acclaimed at the time it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as they keep that momentum, I think Xbox could possibly, fingers crossed, surprise everybody, and we're like, yo, so this what Phil was trying to do. And Phil, you will give him his flowers and his apology. For
I don't know about apology.
Yeah, but for just to see what just to see now that he's actually we he's at his plans actually becoming a lot more clear, seeing the prices of Nintendo, seeing Sony's behavior, and it doesn't seem to get any better. So that's what I think with the shadow drop. I think it was a great surprise for Game Pass. I think Game Pass should continue doing stuff like that. Um, and
I,
I wasn't mad at it. I don't have problem with remakes. It just depends on what game you're remaking for me. If it's a game that I never play, the remake doesn't bother me.
mm,
You know, if it's a remake that if I'm not a fan of that thing, I can't tell those people to move on. I can't
that's
tell
fair.
those people to move on because I'm not a fan of that thing. If you want a remake of World of Warcraft, hey man, enjoy your time. Go ahead and buy those packs again. It doesn't bother me. It has nothing to do with me. Now, if it's a remake I care about, like I'm like, why are you remaking Halo Infinite when there's other decisions that you guys clearly could have done? That's a
Mm-hmm.
lot different. But for me now, doesn't really bother me. I'm glad everybody gets to experience this even on the PlayStation. So
But
um
you don't feel like, to some degree, this kind of feels like almost an Xbox that's just doing this because they have nothing to lose. Like, they're clearly taking a step back from the console business from this generation. Like, they've clearly waved the white flag. So I kind of feel like it's like, let's just kind of get as much of our IP into as many homes as possible.
You know, I started to think it in a lot of, and I started to think about it differently, right? Because what's happening now, what Nintendo's proving to us is hardware is being obsolete in a way.
Mm,
That's what Nintendo's proven to us. Because now I'm like, everybody's looking like, yo, why don't I just get me a Steam Deck instead of this Nintendo Switch?
hmm.
And then do it the Bandit Keith way. I
Yeah.
don't care, Nintendo.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? So with all that, if Xbox changes how consoles deliver to where they now accommodate people, they accommodate people's lifestyle, it's a win. The thing is, they never left the console business. We just didn't like the transition that we're making. We weren't familiar with the territory. We weren't familiar with things being so what, I don't have a dedicated console. Like, you do, but at the same time, if you want something else, you can, kind of like, you have the options to buy a different controller. You don't have to buy Nintendo's controller. You
hmm.
can buy Nintendo's Power A controller. And that's the thing. That's the language of what's going to happen in the future, because now when you go back to it, you see that, yo, this actually isn't sustainable anymore. It just doesn't fit with what the times are, and how information and how technology is being passed. So I think if Xbox redoing that strategy into where, like, listen, you have a hybrid, it just makes sense to have a hybrid anywhere. You could play this version on the go, you go home, you dock it, boom. You want more power, you have interchangeable parts. It's all on you.
Mm,
Versus a PC, to where the PC is not really made for gaming. It's made to run, because you still need Windows.
yeah.
Windows is not optimized to run it. Windows doesn't care about running the games. But if Windows now, the new Windows versions comes out to, like, yo, we're gonna do everything. And then if you just want this to be dedicated to games and forget about Word and forget about running internet, I mean, forget about running this and that. Now Windows comes with it being operational for games. That's a win. That's a tremendous win, because now you transform. Now Windows also, I can literally make my own game as a developer just by getting Windows,
Hmm.
because the software carries that level of power, that level of proficiency. You get what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
now Microsoft changed their strategy, and now we can see what they're trying to do, and now it works, because the playing fields change. Like, look at the prices of games, $80, man. Like, so, like, who's gonna subscribe to that? Versus Microsoft already showing you a repeated consistency of you being able to take your entire library from the time we were in high school up until now. And hey, listen, we're gonna be dedicated on making these games look better. You don't have to play the outdated version. And now those are things that they're doing. This is becomes a new language, kind of like when iPhone dropped. People were still on BlackBerry. Steve Jobs looked at everybody like, listen, I want my iPad, my I want my iPod, my internet, my videos, to my camera to be all in one. Boom.
Hmm.
iPad, and then I don't want any buttons. Now look at us.
Hmm.
So I think I have to give I do owe Phil an apology, because now what he's doing, I'm seeing it now. Is like, I'm seeing it now. So, for right now, as far as me, being mad that there's no console anymore, I think, no, he said they're very much so gonna make a console. He just There's no way for us to understand the internet without actually experiencing it. At that time, we can find videos on news anchors saying, "What is the internet?
Hmm.
What's that at? What does
Hmm.
at? It doesn't make any sense." And now look at us; it makes sense, complete sense now.
Yeah.
And so I think right now, back to Oblivion, I think it's just a preview of what things will be in the future. Because I don't want to micromanage 17 settings on a Windows to get my game to run. I don't feel like doing that.
Mm.
Now, if you get this, hey, your kids, it'll optimize for you. We take care of that for you. If you want the specifics, you could also do that too. But we have a standard version so you can tweak things, and we make tweaking a lot simpler now, because now the Windows is dedicated for making games. That'll change everything.
my only concern with Xbox is that I'm just given their track record. I don't know if they're going to maintain this momentum of what they're doing because they have been infamous for the whole start and stop of like this seems like a really good idea. You guys should invest in it long term. Oh, what's that? It's changing again. Oh well, I guess you'll keep like keep sliding back. Like to your point, I'm like I do think a lot of these things set the groundwork for something that could be really good for them as a company. I just hope that they actually commit. Like don't let this be. Well, it's a sliding scale of games, so Oblivion's gonna be 50, but when we do, I don't know, whatever it is next, it's gonna be 70. It's like, all right, Phil,
Yeah,
just please.
yeah.
And I mean, even with their rollouts, like talking about our next topic, the clear obstruction 33, it's like that was a Game Pass release as well as the same week as Oblivion. And it's like if you have this game that's a brand new IP, a brand new RPG, and you kind of step on its release by re-releasing a classic, essentially. It's
You
like what's
know,
your rollout with that?
Sounds very
I
familiar.
think that I think
So
what
what?
they're trying.
I said it sounds very familiar. Remember Concord and Valorant finally getting the console edition. It's like just
Yep.
You know what? I kind of stopped looking at it. Here's how I look at it now. You go on Netflix, you got 3 new movies to watch. Boom. That's it.
But do you want to treat games like that, especially in the
Well,
market where we're seeing now,
yeah,
where
that's
it's
different.
like,
That's a different level of investment, bro.
yeah, because
Yeah,
like
well, I mean, it's no. If it's on Game Pass, if it's on Game Pass, you have three games to choose from.
but
So
still an investment because it's not like all right, yeah, movie hour 30 minutes 45, but then a video game where you actually the longer you play, the more, especially depending how the formula is of in terms of the longevity of the game. Longevity usually determines your dollars.
and I think those games have dedicated, like, it's an RPG, right? So people are gonna lock in. Oblivion's both RPGs, so you already have people with elephant stamina to play your games,
mhm.
and I think that's. I don't think it hurts because I mean I know me, that wouldn't affect me at all in the slightest. I could play Final Fantasy and then hop and pause and then hop on Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, but those are two different genres of games.
And
Like,
those are two different genres of games. So
mm,
okay, and then I can hop on Cyberpunk and I can hop on and play Final Fantasy. Those are not exactly the same, but they do take time and a lot of paying attention.
mhm.
So I don't think I don't think it hurts. It just depends on people's attention span, or I mean, on because if it's in Game Pass, I don't you don't lose anything. You don't lose time really. You just have to dedicate to whatever you. It just comes down to which one you want to play first. That's it. Versus I'm at. It's like we're at Toys R Us again. If I get this, I can't get this. You know. Versus now you actually having all three options for like $5, or and just hypothetically. So I don't know. I don't
Then,
think it stomps on.
but then I do think that goes back to our remember that a couple of parts ago when we were talking about does Game Pass really still hold up, especially when developers want that money now. So like yeah, versus like yes, it's something that is available through your subscription, but it's still to the point where all right, yes, we're seeing our player count rise.
Mhm.
Player count, yes,
Mhm.
but then definite purchase of these titles and honest investment. Where does that
I
truly stand in the long run?
I think there's just an upfront, depending on what deal they work.
Yeah.
They get paid upfront to do that.
So from what I understand, they do get paid up front to bring the titles to Game Pass, and then there's an additional kickback based on how many players engage with the game. It's
Yeah,
essentially streaming for video games. Like the more
Okay.
people engage with your games, the more of a bonus you get off of that kickback for the
but
company.
I would say it wouldn't be as cheap as what you would get for a stream, if that's making sense.
Yet.
Yeah. No, if you do that, then you break the system. It can't ever get to that. If it does, then it's done.
Can't is a very strong
No,
word, bro.
if it does, then it's done. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, it's like, okay, if I don't have oil in my car, my car is going to eventually uh age in front of me, like wine. I mean, not
Right.
wine, but like cheese, you know.
Right.
So,
But how many times have you heard someone say, I know their car, I know my car, I know my car, and now that car is no longer with us?
oh no, I mean that's the wisdom of the company. If they want to tank, it's all on their power. No, at this point, let's assume that these very wealthy, competent CEOs that went to Berkeley and whatever college they go to, it shows manifested. Because if you get a YouTuber that can outthink you for being amongst the people, then there's something wrong within that established formula.
But I do feel like, to what you're saying, is like that's what we're seeing here, right? Even with Clear Expedition, it's like you're seeing a concentrated company of developers. I think they said it's 30 people that work on the game. It's getting already Game of the Year whisperings in terms of being nominated. Is anyone that's played it seems to enjoy it. That's usually a red flag for me, because the last time that happened, I played several games. I'm like, this was not what y'all said it was. It was good, but it wasn't what y'all said it was. That being said, it's like, if
And
you're
what were
able
those
to,
games?
oh, and Near Automata was one of them for sure.